a minute, I've made him talk. I don't want to make him talk. Data bites. This is the Children's Commissioner's Office data collecting. Okay, so there's a presentation on this. It's data bites, hashtag, is it? Hashtag. Data bites, hashtag 9. Getting things done with data in government. Okay, so that's on YouTube. Now, the second report on this, there's about 4 people talking. The second one is from the Children's Commissioner's Office. And when I saw this, my heart sank. Because what they're talking about is their projected targets for removal of children by 2025. And they started with, we've got this many, which was 300,000. We know we can get this many by the Troubled Families Programme, 700,000. They ended up wanting to take by 2020 2.5 million children.
You know what? This doesn't surprise me at all. The reason it doesn't surprise me is because child trafficking is a £60 billion a year industry, I think, roughly. And obviously, these fake social care homes make up such a large amount of that. And obviously, I'm guessing certain members of the government would be bribed in order for these social care homes and foster agencies, to continue to operate. Yeah. So it's a huge market, and it's disgusting that this has gone on for so long, completely unnoticed and untalked about.
Yeah, and what was I going to say about that? The MPs, every single MP is having letters on their desks, emails, because just like I did, where do you go when you can't get justice? When they've told lies about you in a family court, because this is what they do. They build up a fabricated, the psychologists are involved, the solicitors are involved, the judges are involved. Believe you me, some of these judges, they need absolutely, honestly, I won't say what they need because they're now hate speech or whatever, but they're above the law. Absolutely corrupt, and they think they're above the law. They do. They really do. And where do you go? The first port of call that you go to outside of the system that's just destroyed your life and your children is to your MP, isn't it? That's where I went.
Yeah.
And so these MPs know exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on. And they're not doing
anything responded to you?
It.
Have they responded to any of your... Yeah.
Yeah, my MP, he started off, your son doesn't live here, so why don't you talk to his MP? His MP was complicit. His MP is such a corrupt... the Kent MP, I can't remember his name. He ignored us completely. So I went back to my MP, and when I found out about Christopher Colin Tasker being a child trafficker, he sort of tried to do a bit of sending an email here and there, but nothing came of it. And now, I mean, I've spoken out about him. I've spoken out about all the MPs. And I will continue to speak out about them because they are not representing us. They're not representing our children. If they can't, the children that are, and the families that have been stolen, it doesn't matter what they're doing for their local community. Do you know what I mean? They can be planting a tree or whatever, but that this is genocide. This is genocide. So and they're ignoring it. Sorry, I do get a bit angry. He's called me that. He said that I'm almost violent on my lives that I do on Facebook. If I do mention him by name, I get his caseworkers screaming at me down the phone. So I think if I ever did go and speak to him again, I would probably get arrested. And some of us have got arrested for going, Angie, Angie's been arrested.
For speaking to your MP?
See your MP. Yes. Yeah, we've been.
See, it just goes to show they don't elect us, they don't represent us at all, do they? They think they're all high and mighty, and they won't even, And what does it say when your MP, when you can't even, visit your MP without getting arrested, to hold them accountable for not doing what they were elected to do? It's just an illusion of democracy, isn't it?
I'm not talking about my MP, because I don't want another irate phone call. I just don't. It gives me a headache. A lot of these MPs have got stuff on them, you know what I mean? So if it comes out, like you said, they're going to get blackmailed and that. So, and we know that. I mean, we've seen it from how many sex offenders are in Parliament. Do you know what I mean? They're there. It's all in black and white. We're not making it up. They are sex offenders, a lot of them, and we've just had another one come out.
Yeah. Literally, the other day it was an MP who has now been suspended after allegations of groping and sexual harassment.
Yeah,
and then you had one a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah, and they found out, Theresa May found out, and then she made him the chief whip. They do. Oh, I'll tell you about the judge. I'll give you a judge, right? So this judge in Peterborough is absolutely more than off a trolley. She boasts about how many children she's got taken, and somebody looked up the figures for me, and they said she's taken 1,600 odd children this year up to now of families. And so we've looked her up on Companies House, and she's got children's homes under a different name.
So that should be a conflict of interest, shouldn't it?
Well, I did say, they rang me actually on Saturday morning, don't know why, I do know why, but I thought Saturday morning. But anyway, I spoke to him about it, and I told him we have solicitors that have got children's homes. Is that not a conflict of interest? And he said, it depends. And I was like, no, it doesn't depend at all. It's a conflict of interest.
It's a private business and they're profiting from it. Yeah, exactly. They're profiting from it, so it's a conflict of interest. And
they're meant to be a voice for for the children, to do the right thing for the children, and yet they've got in a children's home, and the psychiatrists do, and the social workers. Obviously, they own the foster care companies, which are just for kids. Most of them, they're not even real foster care companies. Anyway.
Yeah. Quickly, just saying to chat, who is online, I have finally been able to get you on my screen, so I can now read comments. So just so the chat knows now, I can now see all your comments, which is great. Wasn't working on there, so we've got quite a few viewers on as well, which is great. So,
thank you.
Now I understand. Hold on, wait. They're all sorted now. So, right, now we've been having, now we've heard that you've opened up a public inquiry in connection with the European Human Rights Court.
Well, yeah.
Is this...
Or a public inquiry. I'm not sure whether we've had some knockbacks. From Europe. You see, the thing is, this is international. So, I mean, do we stand a chance even in the European Court? I think it's going to have to come to a people's assembly, by the people, for the people. Because, I know there's a lot going on in other aspects of this death phase of the UN, because that's what it is. It's a death phase. And I think we're going to have to all come together on all the issues of what they're doing to us, the people. There's too many of us, and they want shut of us. And so I think we do need to come together. It's very hard to tell the people that are fighting for the freedoms, and very hard to tell people that what's happening with social services. Even the alternative news and You know, they just seem to shy away from this issue. And when I hear people shouting on the freedom rallies, you know, oh, they're coming for our children next. And I'm hang on a minute. They've already got them. They've already
come after them. Yeah. Yeah.
They've already got them. I mean, you know.
How many children go missing from Disneyland each year that you don't hear about? And how many children are trafficked in and out of the United Kingdom? Yeah. It's an absolute shocking number.
Yeah, they do skirt around it. I mean, we had a news report about 2 African, I think they were a prince or something, and that had got caught on the border or something with a boy that they were human harvesting his organs in the UK. They were coming into the UK to organ transplant or something. Now, I looked into that couple, and there's more to them than meets the eye, because they've got companies over here which are Liquido or something, waste disposal, clinical waste disposal companies. You know, it's not just one boy with his organ. It's you know, they've got a company.
Right.
I don't know if that'll come out at their trial. I don't know, but you know, this is huge. There's so many companies and so many offshoot companies that are the biosciences.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing all this anti-aging products and stem cell harvesting and genomics research, and you know, one of the first social workers I investigated was selling babies to Sidra Research Hospital in Qatar.
Yeah.
That was built by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, by the way.
That doesn't surprise me at all. They've got their fingers in every pie, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, actually, one thing that was pointed out to me recently that you might find interesting, because I know you talked a bit about adrenochrome in one of your videos, was that, you know, there's a lab in Wuhan, right? The same lab that COVID allegedly originated from, is one of 3 companies that has a license to produce synthetic adrenochrome.
Right.
So, you know, I thought that was something interesting that would be part there.
Yeah. Well, there was a big leak. There was a big leak of information which came out of America. Somebody put it on a stick and sent it in an Amazon parcel, and it is legitimate. I mean, it is. You know, it's been verified as fact. And I did look at it all. It's absolutely horrific. And there's 2 companies mentioned. One in Manchester and one in Liverpool was mentioned in those documents. You know, about the adrenochrome production. And the DUMs over there, the names of the children, it was just staggering, the amount of children that they've taken for adrenochrome harvesting. It's just shocking.
Someone said,
yeah.
I was just going to say, someone said, that it's Soros Lab, not the one virology its address is linked to AstraZeneca as well. So,
yeah. Anyway, Alderley Park near Manchester was one of the companies was on there, and I think is that AstraZeneca? One of the big, I can't remember now. It was a long time.
Well, AstraZeneca.
I looked at them.
AstraZeneca is based in the UK because my auntie actually works there.
Right.
So we don't get on. I'm not really invited to Christmas food meals or whatever.
She needs a job. Well, my son rang me the other day and he says, "Mum, you're not going to be happy with me." He's a plasterboarder, and he says, "You're not going to be happy with me." He said, "I've just been doing a job in a bioscience lab." And I was like, building a new bioscience lab. I said, "Well, as long as you put some secret cameras in the plasterboard." I was only joking.
Why not?
Josh McAllister is the Children's Review man. They said he was independent. He's he's not independent at all. One of his trustees was in the Evening Standard. She's called Dame Camilla Cavendish, and she was talking about adrenochrome. She didn't mention adrenochrome, but she said that age now is a disease that we can cure, and we are testing out new pharmaceutical products on the super rich. Well, she was talking about adrenochrome, and that man, Josh McAllister, he's got a social workers recruitment agency, and they called him independent. It's just crazy.
Right.
Anyway.
So I wanted to ask as well. Have you faced much censorship? Because I've understood that you've been you get banned on a lot of platforms, as most of us do. But are there any platforms that you're currently on? Do you have any channels or anywhere people can reach you?
Well, we're getting a website. A very kind gentleman in Hong Kong has been supporting us, and he's doing one out of the country, because they reckon that if we did get a website, we'd just take it down. So it's going to be harder to do but it's not up and running yet. But as soon as it is, I'll let you know. I was on Box Clever with Simon Parry. I don't know if you know Simon Parry on Box Clever.
Not sure I do.
Interview with me. Well, he did an interview with me on the 14th of February, and on the 16th of February, they issued an arrest warrant for him. They arrested him in London at the beginning of March, and he's been in a psychiatric hospital ever since. So this is what they're doing. Anyone that's talking out about this, I think he was like, "You talk about this, and this was what will happen to you." I'm very sorry. I hope that doesn't worry you. But he's on Box Clever. Anyway, we've been going to the hospital. We've got lawyers and people trying to get him out. We managed to get to see him the other day.
Yeah. What hospital is he in, if you might?
He's in Prestwich Psychiatric Hospital now. Yeah. Unless they've moved him again. They've moved him 3 times. We managed to get round the back. He's round the back. You can go around the fence and then shout very loud, and he can wave through the window. And like when we went to see him, he said, "I hope you're still trying to get me out of here." So
yeah, it's sad, isn't it? So. Is he?
Yeah, it's very sad, because this is our country, freedom of speech, and and we're not allowed to speak. They shadow ban me on Facebook. Maria, one of the paedophile hunters, she put me on her live, and because they don't mind people watching paedophiles being caught, so she doesn't get shadow banned. And there was thousands on there, thousands of people, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was just like, and I know I have thousands of followers, because every day I get somebody's following you, you know what I mean? But they don't see my posts. They don't see my lives. My posts go right down to the bottom of the pile. So it was amazing. And somebody recorded that and sent it. So he put a link on UK Column News of that interview. But since then, I put my email address on for people to send their stories to, so that we can take this to a public inquiry. And my email's not working now. I'm not getting any emails through, and I was getting hundreds a day.
Well, you've got a Proton Mail.
That was a Proton Mail.
That was taken down, was it?
Well, I'm not getting any emails. I'll just check again. But they're not. I get subscription emails, that just come through daily, and it's not like I'm thinking, well, nobody's emailing me. I'm not getting any emails. So I'll just check now in case. But for the last 24 hours, I haven't got one email.
And is that unusual? Is that you would have had an email?
Pardon?
Is that unusual?
Say that again?
Like, is that unusual? Do you get like quite regular amount of emails coming?
Well, yes, I get change.org. I'm just looking at what I used to get. Rumble. I've deleted a few of these ones that I get constant. Operation Accountability. All sorts just come through all the time, but suddenly I'm not getting any. So, I mean, I know they're watching everything that we're doing, obviously, because, if this comes out, there was what's it called? There was a politician that spoke to a journalist who had joined his new Reform UK. Have you heard of that? Reform UK. It's a new political
I'm good
party.
friends. Yeah, I'm good friends with Richard Taylor, who's a member of Reform.
Right. So Neil McCabe. Have you heard of him?
He's Propel, isn't he? He was Reform.
Oh, is he Propel? Oh, I thought it was Reform.
Yeah, he was Reform. He's now Propel. He runs his own party.
Oh, right, okay. I did message him. I did ask him for a right to reply on this, because I do speak about this, because he told a journalist who joined that party, Reform UK, that he had to take the stuff down off YouTube because this man who was a journalist had his children removed illegally. And he told him to take the YouTube channel stuff because he said, if this comes out, it will cause a civil war. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
So Neil McCabe knows. He knows what's going on, but he won't talk about it, and he don't want anyone else to talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a secret. It's not so much a secret anymore, considering we're live in front of quite a few people. But Neil McAvey, there was someone who actually left our team at Voice of Wales. I'm not going to go into too much more detail about that, but it's because Neil McAvoy wanted her to say something about a certain politician raping a young boy. He didn't have the balls to do it himself, so he was going to use someone else as a mouthpiece with no evidence. Oh, by the way, when was this? This was running up to the election time. So, people can vote Propel if they want or say they're a big fan of Neil McAvoy. Yeah, exactly. He's the same as every other celebrity politician. He's all about himself, making himself look better, his ego. He's not about this movement at all. If he really cares, if he really cared, then he would have said something, not have someone else do it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is ego with them, because if they didn't have, I don't, I've laid myself, on a sacrificial table here, you know what I mean? Any day now they have done welfare checks on me, and crazy weird stuff going on, but where will it end? Where will they end? We know in history, anyone who stands up against a totalitarian state does not end up well. You just have to look back at history, we the people, and I've said this to my MP, if you all stood up and backed us, then it's not just our children that you're protecting, it's us as well, because us speaking out makes us a target, but if the MPs and we all stood up and said, well, no, actually, we're not standing up for this, we're not going to, we are a sovereign nation, and we could very easily say, in this island of ours, we are not murdering children. No. You can do it all over the world. You can do it in America and Canada or where, well, I don't want them to do it anywhere. No. But we are a sovereign nation with our own government. We've just come out of Europe with Brexit. So why continue under Klaus Schwab and flipping Soros and all the rest of them? Why continue this evil, wicked plot? If you're good people that you're meant to be in Parliament, stand up and say no. Grow a frigging backbone and grow a pair of bollocks. Sorry, I am a Christian and I shouldn't say rude words, but, children, and I don't want to cry, but children are the most precious thing that God's given us, as gifts from God. My name, Jane, means gifts from God. I was adopted, and I'm very glad I was adopted. But we are gifts from God, and we shouldn't be ripping them from families. And a family, like a gentleman said on the radio last night, are building blocks of a society. And if you haven't got a mother and a father and children in society, growing up children healthily, psychologically well, spiritually well, financially well, and that's all the government is supposed to do, is to protect and to enable and to strengthen. And what they're doing is the complete opposite. They are breaking up, distressing, smashing down families, and it's in all the policies. Not just, it's in the sex education policies. It's in the social care policies. It's just to disable and to smash down. And I am a Christian, and I'll say this was a God-fearing nation, and these MPs do not fear God, or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Yeah, well, the UK is certainly, because I think, Christianity is definitely in decline now, with Islam taking over, becoming the world's most popular religion. Do you follow Tommy as well then? Because he does a lot with grooming gangs and
I don't follow him. I did try to, because a lot of this is connected. It is connected. Especially up here I don't know, in the north of England, there's a lot of Asian connections with the taxi firms, they're not just trafficking the teenage girls, they're involved in the fostering agencies and the babies and the infants. And I do have to say, because people take snippets, I am not racist. I'm not one iota racist. All our communities are being affected by this. There's not one community that aren't having their children stolen, by different ethnicities that are in the actual trafficking industry as well. So I just have to point that out, because I have been arrested for hate speech. I've been called an anti-Semite. I've been called racist. I've been called homophobic. I don't.
It's okay. I've somehow been called an anti-Semite and then a Zionist at the same time. So I don't know how that works. How I can be a Zionist and a bloody anti-Semite. It's not my fault, right? I fell asleep in a hotel room and my mate put an Israeli flag on me, and he took a picture, and that picture went out, and now people think I'm a Zionist. So we were just taking a bit.
It is funny. My father. Yeah. My father's Jewish blood. I found out, my blood father, because I'm adopted, my blood father's Jewish ancestry. So, I'm saying, right, whatever. Just, we don't, it's just silly. It's gone to the CPS, and I'm like, oh, please, I want my day in court. I would love my day in court so I can get all this out in a court,
If you go to court, let me know and I'll be there. I'll go there with my new accredited press badge, and I'll be reporting on it every step of the way. So just let me know. Yeah.
Thank you. I will do. Yeah, I've got lots of witnesses as well. I've got gay friends that have said, "Oh, please let me come and testify. Yeah, we love you." One of them brought me a pavlova and came for a barbecue. They're our friends. As Christians, I don't believe in the homosexual act, but it doesn't mean we don't love people. Do you know what I mean? Some of my really good friends, my husband worked in the prison, and Callum and his husband are our good friends, and we love people. We're not told to hate the person. We don't agree with that, but it doesn't mean that we treat them any differently from anybody else. And he makes a fantastic pavlova.
One of my bosses, so Voice of Wales is not UNN. Stan is actually I'm not meant to say anything there, so I'm gonna get off that a sec. So as well as that, right? Obviously there's nothing wrong with being gay. I don't thing. With Christianity, isn't it the sin of committing the homosexual act, so by having sexual intercourse with another man? That's what's a sin,
well,
apparently.
That's in the Bible.
Yeah.
That's a sin in the Bible, yeah. But what I don't agree with is why they're targeting me about this, is that I don't agree with the forcible removal of a child, forcibly removed, when they can support that family and keep that baby with the family, and often it's for no reason whatsoever, and then given to a gay couple that have chosen that lifestyle. That's fine, and everybody has a right to choose how they live, because we're a free society. Yeah. But I don't believe that a child should be taken, mother and a father, and given like that, forcibly removed. And I've always said this: if a lesbian couple had artificial insemination and became pregnant, one of them became pregnant, and they had a baby, and then social services came in and removed that baby, I would fight just as hard for that not to happen, as well as, with a mother and a father, because that's their baby. That's their baby.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all in this together, aren't we? We're all, we're all, we've only got one enemy, right? The one that's fighting amongst each other. But instead of that, we need to be focused on the real enemy, and that is them. By the way, I love your dog.
100%. Yeah. I work with I work with Hindus and Muslims and Africans, and we are a big team now. We're building networks. That's our WhatsApp group. But we're building networks up and down the country. We are going in and supporting communities. Awareness talks to communities. We're on local radios, independent radios, talking about this issue. What else are we doing? We're doing conferences, and we've got a camp coming up for families that have had a difficult year and lost their children, so we can support families. We're doing holistic sort of things to help support families. We have advocates that go with them to court. We're not allowed to speak, but we just sit with them, eyes and ears. And lots of different ways that we can just get through this time. And awareness. What I keep hearing and over again is exposure. If this can come out into the light, if we can switch a light on in the darkness of this very, very dark, heinous acts that they're committing, we can stop it.
Yeah.
Any families anybody that's watching, what we say to people is, you get a knock on the door and you've got children in your house, and I'm not over exaggerating, this could happen to anybody at any time. Remember the figure, 2.5 million children. This is from the Children's Commissioner's Office. If you have children in your home and you get a knock on the door, do not open your door until you've asked through the door who it is. As soon as a social worker steps into your house, you have entered a contract with that social worker. So do not open the door. Say, I do not consent. So you do not social worker. Even she could just say, do you understand? And you say yes. You've entered a contract with that social worker. Well, so
if you're asking do you understand, I mean, it usually means do you stand under their idea of what law is, right? But which is stepping a little bit into common law territory there. Can you argue though in that circumstance, all they have to do is come back from a police officer and saying I do not consent while being arrested doesn't help you at all? I mean, if you know what happened to the Voice of Wales lads, they were arrested for reporting on an event outside of Cumbrawn Stadium where you had 3 activists trying to shut down a vaccine centre using common law. And they were arrested saying, I do not consent and all of this. So they ended up now, they're probably going to prison. So, what do you reckon? Could they come back with
they need a
police?
court order.